Meon Valley Railway line ran for 22.5 miles from its junction with the Midhants line in the north at Alton all the way down to where it met the current branch line from Fareham to Eastleigh at Knoll Junction. South of West Meon, which we're just heading for now, is a beautiful path that runs through the wonderful Meon Valley itself. My name's Murray Gowers and I invite you to join me on that walk. The railway line was commissioned in 1896. It reached parliamentary approval the following year, and in 1898 construction began. It was open for business on the 1st of June 1903 and was one of the first main, or the final mainline lines of its type to be built in the United Kingdom. It's long since gone, but there are plenty of physical reminders of it along the way if you look hard enough, including this baby. This is the concrete foundation of this wonderful structure. It must have been 62 feet high, the 4-arched iron West Meon viaduct, 700 tonnes worth. So, we're making the northern approach to West Meon Station. Coming through this cutting, which, as you can see, Mother Nature is now taking over. And this is what's fantastic. Look at this, West Meon Station. It's wonderful. You wouldn't know it was there unless you knew where to walk. And this is it, West Meon Station. Wonderful. The track's gone, the trains have gone, the carriages have gone, the little old lady in her expensive furs waiting for the 1832 from Waterloo, she's gone. But the platforms are all here. And there's history here, all sorts of history. You've got ancient cave paintings of magic mushrooms and cowboys and all sorts of stuff. And I'm just going to carry on wandering through the line of the railway. Here in the bleak winter months is probably the best time to see the station before the thick canopy of summer takes it over and shrouds it from view. Just to the right there was where the station building stood. Long gone, but the platforms you can see. But Mother Nature takes control here now. Trees literally growing out of the concrete. So we're going to leave West Meon now and head south down the line. West Meon, a lovely sleepy little Hampshire village. It's famous, or infamous, for two incumbents in its churchyard. Thomas Lord was the man after whom the famous cricket ground was named. He was a first-class cricketer in his own right. He retired to West Meon and died. In 1955, they held a cricket match between the MCC and the local team. And the local pub, newly built, was named after him. Perhaps someone not so famous was Guy Burgess. Now you would have thought in 1940s Britain, anyone entering the intelligence service with the name of Guy Francis de Montcy Burgess would have sent alarm bells ringing, but apparently not. And Guy the Spy went on to carve out a career for himself as one of the most notorious post-war spies this country's produced, along with his Cambridge chums, Kim Philby, Donald MacLean, Anthony Blunt, no relation to James. So Guy, the spy, defected to Russia in 1951 and died on the 30th of August 1963. His remains were brought over and interned here in West Meon. What, I hear you ask, did West Meon do to deserve that? Well, apparently his family have a plot in the churchyard, and there he remains. The River Meon, 21 miles from its source on Butser Hill, all the way down to Hill Head and out into the Solent. And cutting as it goes, one of the most picturesque valleys you'll find anywhere in Hampshire. And the lifeblood of the Meon Valley Railway. Well, this is the River Meon in spate, isn't it wonderful? Back in the 6th century, this is getting close to what it might have looked like. The river would have spanned this whole valley. It was impenetrable. But here, at Droxford, a town that it gets its name from an easy crossing point of the river, Droxford Ford. What happened was, back in the 6th century, a tribe of Jutes from Jutland on the Denmark Peninsula sailed across the North Sea, settled for a bit in the Isle of Wight and decided to chance their arm on the mainland. And they forayed up through the Meon Valley and they gave their name to the river. They were the Meon Warra. Behind this fence is Droxford Station. It's now a private residency, hence the fence. But if you have a quick look, you'll see the former glory that once was the station that provided the Meon Valley Railway with its finest moment in June 1944. On the 2nd of June, a special train was commissioned to come down here in preference to Wickham. Wickham Station was closer to Southwark House, which is where the plans for Operation Overlord was being meticulously drawn out. But this station apparently provided better protection in case of an air attack. So on the 2nd of June, the special train came down here, pulled up here, outstepped General Eisenhower, Churchill, General de Gaulle, General Smuts of South Africa, and plenty of other, but yes, from Canada, from Australia, New Zealand. It was a big shebang. It was a big do in World War II. They came out and all got in their separate staff cars, went off to Southwark House. But it is believed, and it's rumoured, that the decision to delay the D-Day landings by one day was taken at this station. Who am I to disbelieve that? Either way, this is the Meon Valley Line's glory moment. Wonderful. Have another look. So here we are, under a bridge just south of Droxford Station, heading ever towards Wickham now. I do love the echoes you get from these bridges. And they've even got stalactites growing from them. This bridge is called Devo Bridge. There you are, it's got a name. So the train left the station on the 5th of June, 1944. The decision to go ahead with the D-Day landings having been taken. History awaited them. And from there, the Meon Valley Line continued into the 1950s. So we passed through Wickham and we're heading towards the end of the line. Look at any disused railway line and the name that immediately comes up is Dr. Beeching. But the Meon Valley Railway line was not one of his severe cuts. It died a long time before then. I was coming down this line a few years back, and it was then when I walked past a face I recognised, and I looked at him twice and he looked at me twice, and I knew it was Windsor Davis, better known as Sergeant Shutup, I think, from Einarf Hopman. And I was looking at him and he gave me that sort of look that celebrities do that sort of says, if you say for 1 minute, lovely boy, or nice pair of shoulders, show 'em off, show 'em off, he was going to twat me one. So I didn't, but I really wanted to. But as he was out of earshot, I just carried on walking and started singing. Sing lofty, whispering grass. So here we are, getting towards the end of the day, and appropriately, getting towards the end of the line. And the Meon Valley Railway had to face the harsh economic realities of the mid-1950s. What its demise did show was a foretaste of what was ahead for the national rail network. The last train to run was on the 6th of February 1955, a specially commissioned train appropriately called the Hampshireman. It ran from north to south in its entirety. After that, the following year, West Meon Viaduct was torn down for scrap. The line was cut in two. It continued to be used for a little while longer. The service to Droxford, a good service, that closed in 1962. And then in 1968, the last train ran to Farringdon. Beyond that, the line was finished. The last bit of track to be torn up was in 1975, this very stretch we're standing on, south of Droxford. After that, the Hampshire County Council bought it as a leisure recreational area. Hence the reason why we are able to walk this magnificent line in its entirety well into the 21st century.